While receiving an infusion in the infusion hall, I suddenly heard the voice of the handsome guy opposite me. Oh my God, this is not the woman on Brother Brian's phone screensaver. I'm calling Brother Brian now, and Brother Brian must come running over. I'm alone receiving an infusion in the middle of the night, and Brother Brian must be heartbroken. The infusion hall was crowded with people. I thought the handsome guy opposite me was talking about someone else, but I didn't expect that the person he was secretly photographing with his mobile phone was actually me. When I was sick, I was alone receiving an infusion in the hospital, and I didn't dare to sleep while watching the bottle. It was when I was lonely and vulnerable that I suddenly heard the voice of the handsome guy opposite me. Oh my God, this is not the woman on Brother Brian's phone screensaver. I'm alone receiving an infusion in the middle of the night, and Brother Brian must be heartbroken if he knew. I'm calling Brother Brian now, and he must come running over. The infusion hall was crowded with people. I thought the handsome guy opposite me was talking about someone else. I was looking around like a spectator, but I didn't expect that the person the handsome guy opposite me was secretly photographing with his mobile phone was actually me. I was wondering if I was emotionally fragile when I was sick and wanted someone to accompany me, so I had auditory hallucinations, and I heard the voice of the handsome guy opposite me again. He buried his head and seemed to be sending a message. Brother Brian, look who I met in the hospital. Is she the woman on your phone screensaver? She was alone in the infusion hall. There was no one around her. How would I know what disease she had? Anyway, no one was with her. I saw that she was so sleepy that she almost closed her eyes and dozed off several times. From time to time, she suddenly opened her eyes and took a look at the 4 bottle. Didn't you feel so distressed that your heart was about to break? You asked which hospital? Such important information must be paid for. 3,000 yuan, transfer quickly. The money is small. I won't tell you a penny. What, 3,000 yuan? Are you robbing money? I wanted to rush to the handsome guy opposite and ask him if he should give me half of the money. Ding dong, it seems that the money has arrived. The handsome guy opposite changed to a more excited sitting posture. I continued to hear his inner voice. Wow, Brother Brian, you are too generous. Tell you right away. It's in the adult infusion room on the 2nd floor of the Municipal People's Hospital. Come quickly and wait for you. Don't worry, I will keep an eye on her for you all the time. I really wanted to walk over and say to the handsome guy opposite, instead of watching me, you might as well keep an eye on my 4 bottle for me. I'm too sleepy and want to sleep. No one call me after I finish throwing away the liquid. There was no one for blood. It will be troublesome if the air is backflowed or pumped in. I closed my eyes and racked my brains, but couldn't figure it out. Which brother surnamed Brian has a crush on me? Until 20 minutes later, someone suddenly pushed open the door of the infusion hall. The other person was so handsome in a black windbreaker. His long legs were particularly eye-catching. He wore a white shirt inside, and his dog waist was faintly visible. Sexual tension. It was that face. It was too familiar. The ceiling of appearance. Isn't this my best friend's younger brother, Brian, who has immigrated abroad? The memory of the dead suddenly began to attack me. 6 years ago, it was a hot summer day. There was a power outage in my community. I couldn't turn on the air conditioner at night, which was fatal. I posted a circle of friends to complain. Is the power outage going to heat me to death? My best friend, who is far away abroad, couldn't call me at night and asked me to stay at her house. Anyway, she is abroad, and the house in China is empty anyway. I drove to her house quickly, turned on the air conditioner, and fell asleep on my best friend's bed. Who knew that I woke up in the middle of the night and found someone lying next to me? I was shocked. I turned on the light and found a face that was so handsome that people would hate him, and his chest muscles were so big. There were also more 3-dimensional abdominal muscles and more 3-dimensional skin. My eyes were about to bleed from the nose, but his face was red from drinking, and no matter how I called him, he couldn't wake up. Of course, I recognized him at a glance. He was my best friend's handsome younger brother. He was obviously only 18 years old. Looking at the fair and tender boy, he was so well built after taking off his clothes. One look made people's blood boil. It was too tempting. The little rabbit was probably completely asleep on the bed and fell asleep without realizing that someone was oppressing him. What should I do? My best friend's house is a 1-bedroom apartment, and there are no other rooms. The key is that there is no air conditioning in the living room. She asked me to give up the room, but I refused. I wanted to kick him off the bed and let him sleep on the floor, but no matter how I kicked, I couldn't move his body. I was closing my eyes and was so angry that I didn't know what to do. Suddenly, the kid turned over and the rabbit was warm and domineering. The sexy lips with a hint of wine were pressed against mine unexpectedly. I was stunned for a moment. My mind went blank. Who could have thought that I would be flirted with by a handsome brother who is 5 years younger than me in the middle of the night? I was just about to open my mouth to scold him and wake him up. As soon as I opened my mouth, his smooth lips came straight in. I was completely stunned. His eyelashes were longer than mine. He closed his eyes. His eyes were as beautiful as an upside-down moon. His breath sprayed on my face, hot, numb, and itchy. I have never had such a big emotional fluctuation in my life. I should have been angry and embarrassed, but my heartbeat accelerated uncontrollably. The little bastard drunkenly swept my mouth. I was so scared that I completely forgot the normal reaction of my heartbeat. My tongue hurt, and my head dodged everywhere. I didn't want to be entangled by him. The little bastard was not in a hurry. He couldn't hold me, so he sucked my mouth bit by bit. The tip of his tongue touched the upper wall of his mouth. I felt like I was hit by an electric current, wave after wave. It's unbearable. A feeling arose in my mind. It's too enjoyable. I'm crazy. My mood fluctuates greatly. My mind is in a mess, and it's unbearable. How can he go crazy and do whatever he wants? My mood fluctuates greatly. My mind is in a mess. I have never kissed anyone in my life. Now I am teased by my bestie's little bastard, and I can't stop. I am in a dilemma. My head is dizzy, and I am confused. I obviously can't stand this soft and sticky touch. In the end, my tongue can't help but want to touch him. My heart is about to jump out of my throat. I feel like I'm crazy. Later, when I think back, I can't remember it clearly. Only the burning feeling is clearly remembered. Later, the little bastard probably had enough of flirting with me and lay beside me and fell asleep, and my heart is still full of huge waves. It's hard to calm down. I even can't sleep all night. At 5 in the morning, before the little bastard sobers up, I flee. Only that one accident would have been fine. That one accident would have been fine. But one day, half a month later, my bestie suddenly called me. Momo, did you touch the surveillance camera when you went to my house last time? My head buzzed. You still have surveillance cameras at home? My best friend said that I am abroad, and the house in China must be equipped with surveillance cameras when it is empty. Today, I suddenly wanted to check the surveillance cameras at my house. All the surveillance cameras were monitored. Only the surveillance camera of my house that night was deleted. That night, it was deleted by her brother. When her brother woke up the next day, he checked the surveillance cameras and found that we had done something unspeakable. He quickly destroyed the evidence. My heart jumped to my throat. I must ask you clearly about this matter. Did you install surveillance cameras in every room? My best friend said affirmatively. Yes, except for the bathroom. There are surveillance cameras in other places, but the surveillance cameras in every room were completely deleted that night. I didn't mean to delete it, but I wanted to ask, what if it was not you but a hacker who broke in and copied the video of you sleeping? It would be a big trouble. I jumped up in shock. Before her brother deleted the video, he would not have copied a copy to keep it for himself. I wish I could find a crack in the ground to crawl into, but this matter cannot be asked by my best friend to her brother. Of course, I wish I could find a crack in the ground to crawl into. It was not a hacker, it was me who deleted it. I don't want you to see my elegant sleeping posture. My best friend laughed and scolded on the other side of the phone. Get lost, just don't be a hacker. Originally, I opened the video today to help you delete it, but it's okay. After hanging up the phone, I was still uneasy for a long time. Originally, I was looking for men and women, but occasionally, when I saw the plot of the TV series, it would evoke the indescribable beauty of that night. I blushed and secretly recalled it, feeling very ashamed, so I quickly stopped. Occasionally, when chatting with my best friend, I would inadvertently hear about his brother's recent situation. I always pay attention to it, but dare not ask too much. I didn't expect to see him again in the infusion hall after 6 years. Director Brian is here. I don't care. Do you want a hand warmer? While talking, he took out a hand warmer from his bag and put it under my wrist. My wrist was already frozen after an hour of infusion. The sudden appearance of the hot water bottle was simply my savior. He leaned lazily on the empty seat next to me. The lines of his profile were deep and handsome. I heard from my best friend that he took over the family business after graduating from university last year. He has only been back to China for a year. The several projects he took over have doubled the company's profits. My best friend's father praises his son to everyone he meets. It's true that a newborn calf is not afraid of a tiger. The young heir has a strong aura, which makes people feel numb, especially when they know that this little bastard has a crush on me. I stared at him straight, but I didn't expect that I made his ears red. The black windbreaker made him look noble and calm, but it couldn't hide the chaos in his eyes. Sister Ellie, there's something on my face. I held back my smile and shook my head. No, I just think it's too coincidental. The handsome guy opposite also greeted me in surprise. Ha, isn't it a coincidence? It turns out that this sister knows Brother Brian. My name is Nathan, and I'm Brother Brian's brother. Sister, I see that you are very sleepy just now. If you are really very sleepy, you might as well take a nap. Let Brother Brian help you watch the infusion bottle. I asked Brother Brian to accompany me. I didn't expect that Brother Brian could meet acquaintances in the infusion room. Anyway, Brother Brian accompanying one person is accompanying, and accompanying two people is also accompanying Brother Brian, right? It's just a piece of cake, Sister Ellie. You just go to sleep. I just sneezed and Brian took off his coat and covered me with it. Sister Ellie, will it be warmer this way? The coat with his body temperature remaining on it instantly reminded me of that indescribable night 6 years ago. It was terrible. My heart was already beating wildly. I could only close my eyes and desperately tell myself to calm down, but my mood just wouldn't calm down. It was like floating in the air like a roller coaster. I couldn't believe it. The little bastard actually had a crush on me. I heard the voice from the other side again. Brother Brian, why are you so reserved? Didn't you see that Sister Ellie was dozing off and needed a pillow? Take the initiative to offer your shoulder for her to lean on. Why do you care if she has a boyfriend or not? Why do the latecomers get the upper hand? Aren't they all fighting, scrambling, and teasing? What's wrong with you being 5 years younger than her? How do you know she doesn't like younger brothers if you don't chase them? Which sister doesn't love younger brothers and have to be sweet-mouthed? For example, when Sister's infusion is finished, you take the opportunity to send her home and then press her in the elevator. That's what you said, Sister. You are my ideal type. Sister, can it be me? Sister, I just want to date you. I'm going crazy thinking about it. Sister, I will listen to you in the future. Sister, can I be your private property? Sister, can I bully you by committing a treasonous act? Sister, please touch my abdominal muscles. Help, who understands? I'm so sleepy, but I can't fall asleep. My mind was full of Brian pressing me in the elevator and his magnetic and seductive tone when he said those words to me one by one. Obviously, nothing happened, but I've already had an intracranial orgasm. I can't help swallowing my saliva. I'm actually looking forward to it. I can't imagine what would happen if Brian really pressed me in the elevator and put me close to my ear with the sound of the subwoofer. It's a bit arousing. His eyes seemed to be struggling with something. When he found that I opened my eyes, his eyes flashed faster than mine, but the next second, he took the initiative to close the distance and offered his shoulder. Sister Ellie, I'll lend you my shoulder to sleep on. Before I could refuse, his long arms had already reached out and pressed my drowsy head onto his shoulder. His movements were quick and decisive, and he was very confident. My sister used to be sick and hadn't drip. You all have to lean on my shoulder. With me, you and my sister are treated the same. Otherwise, when my sister finds out that I met you by chance in the hospital and didn't take good care of you, she will definitely not let me off. I tried my best to pretend to be calm and reserved. I'm really too sleepy, so I won't be polite with you. Thank you, Brother Lonting. Brian pretended to be calmer than me. It's just a piece of cake. It's my duty. I didn't come all the way to bring you a pillow. I just happened to meet you. I smiled and said nothing. If I hadn't heard the handsome guy opposite me saying, "It's my duty. I didn't come all the way to bring you a pillow. I just happened to meet you," I would have almost believed this unexpected encounter. I closed my eyes, leaned on his shoulder, and slept soundly. I would be woken up by the slightest noise in the infusion hall. As soon as I opened my eyes, I saw my photo on the screensaver of his mobile phone. My head slept soundly, and that photo looked like a screenshot from the surveillance video. It was that night 6 years ago, when he and I were lying in the same bed. I raised my head in shock and sat up straight. Brian was more panicked than I was. He hurriedly turned off the screen. His ears were red and bleeding. He stood up suddenly and fled. All his elegance, calmness, and composure were instantly replaced by nervousness. Sister, the medicine in the infusion bottle is almost finished. I went to call the nurse, but he didn't even notice. When he left, he was so nervous that the person opposite him started to walk with his hands and feet. Shui covered his face with his hands. I heard his frantic voice. Brother Brian, you walk with your hands and feet. What bad thing did you do to make you so nervous? It's so embarrassing. Is this still the Brother Brian I know? Bring out the calmness and decisiveness of the business world. Help. Sisters seem to be laughing. What if she is laughing at you? Brother Brian, your wife is gone. I wanted to say, don't come here, help. The 85-meter-tall young man was so nervous that he walked with his hands and feet. I unexpectedly thought it was cute. He walked back again. Brian had regained his composure in every move. When the nurse came to remove the needle, I subconsciously retracted my hand, but Brian gently held my wrist. He knelt on one knee in front of the chair. The force with which the cotton ball pressed the eye of the needle was incredible. Sister, go home. I pointed at the handsome boy Nathan sitting opposite me. Don't you have to continue to accompany your friend? Nathan shook his head like a rattle. Sister Ellie, don't worry about me. I'm afraid I have to stay in the hospital until dawn. Let Brother Brian take you home first. Brother Brian's driving skills are super stable. Brian Long had taken the initiative to support my shoulders. Who knew that my center of gravity was unstable when I stood up? Fortunately, his arms were broad and powerful to protect me. I was caught off guard and fell into a strong embrace. I could feel the firm chest muscles through the cashmere sweater. Be careful, sister. I wanted to get out of his arms, but he quickly carried me on his back. Sister, are you weak? I'll carry you on my back. Don't refuse, otherwise my sister will definitely teach me a lesson. I fell into his broad back with body temperature. I have already refused you if I wanted to refuse, and I simply put my arms around his neck and smiled. Brother Lan Ting, if you say so, then I won't refuse. I wonder if my best friend has ever been carried on her back by her younger brother. When Brian carried me downstairs, I could feel the temperature of his neck rising inch by inch. It was super exciting. What's more exciting was that when he drove me home, his Adam's apple moved when the car radio suddenly played First Love. Sister Ellie, have you heard the Easter egg of this song? Well, in the 7th second after the chorus, his voice paused deliberately. When he lowered his eyes, his eyelashes cast a small shadow under his eyes. It was the kissing sound deliberately left by the recording engineer. It was like that night 6 years ago. An alarm bell rang in my head. The little rabbit was finally going to settle the accounts with me 6 years ago. Sure enough, it was also an eye. As a result, I heard his eyes turn red. Love me, help me. I'm afraid that the air will suddenly be quiet. I was so embarrassed that I desperately picked my toes. I really didn't know how to continue this topic. It wasn't until the car stopped downstairs of my apartment that I asked desperately, "Do you want hush money, Brother Lon?" The air in the car seemed to solidify. Brian's fingers tightly clenched the steering wheel, pressing his brother tightly. In the car, the air seemed to freeze. Brian's fingers were tightly clenched, and his brother's face turned pale in the car. My back is pressed against the seat. Hush money. His Adam's apple rolls, and the tip of his nose almost touches my earlobe. How does sister want to shut up? My breathing suddenly became disordered, and a thin layer of sweat had already seeped out of my fingertips. I unexpectedly see the faintly visible tattoo on his collarbone. Momo. I am stunned. This is my name. I had it tattooed by a master in Tokyo last year. Brian, hugging and hiding, the hope of encountering me. I think of the sudden rainstorm in Tokyo and the boy in the fisherman's hat in the Ginza cafe. Could it be this little bastard? Sister, do you have a boyfriend? He suddenly holds up the back of my neck, and the tip of his nose rubs across the lip beads. If not, can you accept my living hush money? The distance is too exciting. My head is dizzy. If there is no lip beads, can you accept my living hush money? The distance is too exciting. My head is dizzy. Is that little rabbit a little rabbit? Suddenly it is so fierce. His breath sprays on my face wetly, making my scalp numb. I think of that night 6 years ago. That warm, domineering, sexy lip with a hint of wine, which was pressed against my lips unexpectedly. The ups and downs, I almost calmed down and squinted my eyes. On the way upstairs, I reflected and reviewed in annoyance. I felt that it was not good for me to just leave him like this, but I didn't have the courage to take the elevator downstairs to find him again. Ding dong. A pop-up window on my phone prompted that someone wanted to add me as a WeChat friend. The note of the friend request was, "Sister, I'm sorry. I scared you just now. If you don't want to, just pretend I didn't say anything. I won't disturb you as your friend. I will feel at ease, just like I only disturbed you before. I am thinking of you silently in my heart. You are sick. Go to bed early. Good night." I accepted the friend request, thought about it, and sent him a message. "I don't have a boyfriend." Brian replied in seconds, "Sister, can that be me?" I didn't reply and turned off the screen. I received too much information tonight, and I also need to calm down. The next morning, I just woke up and saw Brian's warm mountain indicator was placed at the door of your house. I went to open the door in my slippers, and sure enough, I saw an insulated bucket on the ground at the door. In addition to porridge, there were other breakfasts, all of which I usually like to eat. There was still a note stuck to the bottom of the thermos, with powerful handwriting and oil stains. "Sister, you don't have to answer me in a hurry, but while Sister is considering, can I pursue you?" I carried the thermos back to the house and sent him a WeChat message while drinking porridge. "The yam porridge is delicious. Thank you, Brother Lonting." Brian replied immediately, "What do you want to eat for brunch, sister?" "I'll send it to you," I replied with a smile. So attentive. Brian is deliberately trying to become Sister's private property. Are all the little bastards nowadays so straightforward? I can't stand their enthusiasm at all, but I don't dislike it either. I can't restrain the upturned arc at the corners of my mouth. It's over. I can hear my heart pounding. At noon, Brian came again with a thermos. He was dressed formally and nobly today, in a suit and tie, and looked exhausted, as if he had hurried over from a venue. His business car was parked downstairs of the apartment. He probably asked the nurse last night and knew that I had to go to the hospital for infusion. "Sister, wait for you to have brunch, and I'll take you to the hospital. I've arranged a ward for you. Don't refuse. The infusion hall is too noisy. It will affect your rest." I thought he arranged an ordinary ward with multiple rooms for me, but I didn't expect the environment to be as good as a business suite in a hotel. He sat next to me with a notebook and handled official business. The way he focused on his work was really pleasing to the eye. His dedication and enthusiasm made everything around him seem secretive. The ringing of the mobile phone broke the silence in the ward. "Lon Ting, why did my best friend appear in the video when I called you?" Nathane posted on his circle of friends that he acted as a matchmaker for you. "You finally dared to make a move. I was still wondering who you made a move on. I never expected that you wanted to seduce my best friend." The scream penetrated the ward. I tilted my head in shock and saw Brian blushing from the tip of his ears to his collarbone. But he suddenly grabbed my hand and interlocked our fingers, raised our folded palms, and faced the camera firmly. "It's not about seducing, it's about pursuing." I watched my best friend's murderous expression turn into shock. "What's on Ellie's neck? Brian, are you born in the year of the dog?" I didn't expect the plot to develop like this. Why didn't I know what's on my neck? I quickly took out my phone and used selfie mode to look at my neck. I found that it had turned red like a small strawberry. I remembered that I felt itchy just now, so I rubbed it hard. My best friend misunderstood me, and I hurried to explain. Lon, it's not what you think. Don't let your imagination run wild. This is what happened." But my best friend interrupted me. "Brian, tell me the truth. When did you two start?" The little bastard glanced at me secretly and said with difficulty, 6 years ago." My heart skipped a beat. What a sin. My best friend's scream pierced my eardrum again. "Say it again. A few years ago." Brian's voice was sexy and hoarse. 6 years ago, I was drunk and slept in the same bed with Sister Ellie. My head was about to explode. I immediately rushed over, covered Brian's mouth, and didn't allow him to continue. But Brian opened my hands and said righteously, "Although it was an accident, sister, you taught me since I was a child that a man should be faithful to one person, and chastity is a man's best dowry. Since I have already given it to Sister Ellie, I only want to be Sister Ellie's private property in this life. Is there any problem?" I was so flustered, as if something was about to jump out of my throat. My best friend on the other side of the video was even more speechless than me. She was stunned for a long while before she reacted. "So, you did the deleted surveillance video 6 years ago. Wait, let me take it easy. What happened between the two of you under surveillance? Is this a topic we can talk about?" I quickly cut off the video. I saw Brian's eyes getting darker and darker. He asked me with an accusing look, "Sister Ellie, don't you plan to be responsible for me?" His eyes flushed, and he pressed on step by step. "Sister Ellie, are you going to put on pants and deny it?"
Help me.
The boy's eyes made me feel guilty. I didn't say I wasn't responsible. The next second, the little bastard's eyes were bright. "So, sister, have you agreed?" Well, what did I agree to? Am I being tricked by this kid? I swallowed and wanted to persuade him to calm down. "Brian, I'm 5 years older than you." Suddenly, my lips were blocked and I heard his desperate plea in my ears. "Sister Ellie, do you think I'm small?" But I'm not small at all. I'm very big. Don't deny me easily, okay? I'm going crazy. I don't believe he can't understand me. He grabbed my hand and stroked the tattoo on his collarbone. Sister knew that the tattoo artist asked me who Momo was. How did I answer? I told him that Momo was the bad sister who stole my adolescence. Then I noticed that he was wearing a hair tie on his wrist. It looked very much like the one I lost in Japan 6 years ago. I stared at the hair tie on his wrist in a daze. Could this hair tie be mine? Brian's ears immediately turned red, and he wanted to put it in his hand. It is a priceless treasure to me. Every time I miss you, I touch the hair tie, and it doesn't feel so hard. My heart suddenly felt blocked, and I went crazy. Is that so? Then you keep it. I found that the little bastard was obviously relieved. Dong dong dong. Someone is knocking on the door. Come in. The little bastard regained his domineering attitude and sat back in the chair. It was his secretary. Dong dong dong. Come in, but this document needs your signature urgently. Brian nodded expressionlessly, with the attitude of a superior. He took the document and looked at it indifferently. He picked up the pen and signed with a flamboyant manner. His expression and attitude were very different from when he talked to me. I almost thought he had a split personality. The contrast was pleasing to the eye. After the secretary left with the signed documents, the air in the ward suddenly became thick again. His indifferent eyes quickly became hot and sincere. Sister Ellie, he suddenly leaned over and supported himself on both sides of the bed. The pine scent mixed with body temperature trapped me in a small space. The surveillance camera of that night 6 years ago was like me. I clenched the sheets tightly, and my nails almost dug into my palms. The chaotic memories of that night became clear again. His drunken and hot lips crushed me violently and madly. Perhaps he noticed my trembling. He suddenly knelt on one knee beside the bed. The angle of looking up made his suit pants show beautiful muscle lines. In the past 6 years, I have sharpened myself into the sharpest knife, but as long as I hear your name, I will still become the helpless look after waking up and seeing the surveillance.
Don't laugh at me.
It turns out that he noticed my little thoughts. I quickly shook my head. No joke. I like this side of you that you only show in front of me. The little bastard's eyes are hot again. Really? Well, then I will only show it to my sister in the future. He laughed muffledly and held my hand persistently. His fingertips gently hooked my palm. As long as my sister doesn't refuse, I will try my best to practice how to be a good dog of my sister. Oh my God. Even if my best friend comes from abroad at this moment, I can't resist the temptation of her brother. The cabbage in my best friend's house is so handsome. It doesn't matter who I give it to. Why can't I sit on it? My illness is completely cured. The rain is soaking wet. It fits my abdominal muscles. The waistband of my pants is loose, revealing my mermaid line. The man is attractive. I try to look away, but I hear Brian's chuckle. My sister's heart is beating so fast. You little brat, you must have wet yourself on purpose. He suddenly approaches. Sister, you give me 30 seconds to push me away. I count his heartbeats like a drum and hook his belt at the 29th second. Brian has never learned to round off. The next second, he holds the back of my head and seduces me deeply. Sister, can I be your private property openly now? I hold his face, trying hard not to laugh out loud. No, you have to pursue me for more than half a year. Brian gritted his teeth and looked determined to win. Sister, let me see my performance. Well, I am crazy. The enthusiasm of the younger brother. Wait and see, endlessly. I pretended to be calm on the surface, but I was actually ecstatic inside. One day half a year later, my phone suddenly vibrated like crazy. My best friend sent me 99 plus messages. Ellie, you're done. Brian's computer password is Momo0613. The safe contains all the photos of you stolen from my photo album. And the third compartment of the bookcase is wrapped in the Wealth of Nations, which contains the videotape of your debate competition 2 years ago. If you don't believe me, go find it yourself. I stared at the message from my best friend and sneaked into his study. I stood on tiptoe to take down the heavy economics book. The videotape, wrapped in brown paper, fell to the ground. There was a handwritten note on the cover. October 23rd, 2023 debate competition. Ellie, the third debater on the opposing side. My memory suddenly became clear. That was the debate competition in which I lost the most miserably. At the end, most of the seats were empty, but there was a boy in a baseball cap in the third row who kept applauding until the very last moment. It turned out that it was not an illusion. What is my sister looking at? His warm chest suddenly pressed against my back. He lowered his head and rubbed my earlobe with the tip of his nose. The phone was still vibrating like crazy. My best friend sent me another message. Ellie, you're really done. How did you get involved with my brother, this Brian Natick? There is a locked room in my brother's villa. I hacked into the security system and saw it. Before I could finish my words, I was picked up by the waist. A familiar blush appeared at the corners of Brian's eyes. Sister Ellie, don't listen to my sister's nonsense. She herself is not getting married, and she can't bear to see us being single. But I still asked, where's the locked room? Can I take a look? Brian showed an embarrassed and nervous expression, but in the past 6 months of getting along, he rarely refused me. As long as I asked, no matter how difficult it was, he would do it for me. He hesitated for a long time, took my hand and went to the room. Sister, you have to promise not to laugh at me. I nodded. Okay. The moment the fingerprint lock was opened, the whole wall of surveillance screens illuminated the darkness. July 13th, 2020-21:47 I squatted in front of a convenience store to feed stray cats. April 2nd, 2021:15:13 I stood in front of the bus waiting for the bus after get off work. December 31st, 2023:3:59 my colleagues and I were watching the New Year's Eve fireworks on the street. I was stunned. These are... Brian nervously and forcefully hugged me from behind. Sister, these are satellite images. I didn't mean to use satellites to find out your life trajectory. It's just that sometimes I miss you and can't help but open it to check. I promise, I'm not a stalker, please believe me. There is also a surveillance camera screen. It was that hot summer night 6 years ago. This is the first time I have seen the follow-up. When he woke up early in the morning, he trembled and buried his face in the pillow where I had slept. Probably remembering the absurdity of the night, he sat on the bed and talked to himself. Sister Ellie, I'm sorry, don't worry. I will be responsible for you. But wait until I grow up, okay? In my opinion, it was just an accident, but it made him fall deeply into it, getting deeper and deeper. Tears suddenly fell on the operating table. It was hard for me not to be moved by his sincerity. I turned around and hugged his neck. The time I missed in those years rolled between my lips and teeth. He held my waist against the flickering screen and finally said the response that was 6 years late. Sister, I'm grown up now. It's a 6-month observation period. Do you think I can do it? I really want to be with you. I'm going crazy thinking about it. I nodded and said, okay. His performance was so exciting that it was hard for me not to be pleased. My barren heart seemed to be filled up in an instant. I just wanted to hold him like this, lingering and sinking. In the blink of an eye, another half a year passed. It was the wedding day of Brian and me. Nathan was one of the 10 best men. He ran over to me and said, "Ha ha ha," it made me laugh to death. Brother Brian was reciting his wedding vows in the bathroom. He was not so nervous when he gave a speech at the economic summit. Sister Ellie, how did you train Brother Brian to be such a top-notch pure love god? I won't tell him that I'm nervous too, okay? My best friend came over in a fishtail skirt and gritted her teeth while fixing my veil. Ellie, you've made it. I treat you as a sister, but you treat me as a child-raising husband. Of course I know, bestie wife. Nathan stood by and took pictures crazily with his mobile phone. Brother Brian, don't be so nervous when you walk on the red carpet later. Brian kicked him and said, "Get lost." He stared at the way I wore the wedding dress, which reminded me of the day I tried on the wedding dress when he pushed me against the mirror in the dressing room. He bit my ear and said that the way I looked in a white veil made him want to commit a crime. That day he pushed me against the mirror in the dressing room and bit my ear. The way I looked in a white veil made him want to commit a crime. I was very shy to do it at my wedding. Witnessed by friends, Brian knelt on one knee in front of me. You always say that I am 5 years younger than you, but ever since I saw you curled up in a chair in the infusion room, I swear that no matter how you look at me, I will take the initiative and always be by your side, never let you be alone again, holding up your sleepy eyelids and frying alone. I am practicing how to kiss you every minute and every second. Can we accept the results now? Nathan took the lead in applauding and cheering. The MC was also laughing and holding up the microphone and said, "It seems that the groom can't wait to kiss his bride." "Bride, can I?" I gently closed my eyes and nodded nervously and happily. "Yes." The next second, Brian stood up. Such enthusiasm made people kiss the back of his head amid the cheers of the whole audience.